Hi, welcome to Talk Back Live, a show that gets you involved in live conversation and sports with Brian Camp on Sports Update, bringing you the latest developments in today's world of sports. And now here's your host, Frank Allan.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and a pleasant night to each and every one of you around the world and across the country, depending on your time zone. Here we are. It's Thursday once again. It's 8 p.m. on the East Coast. It's 5 p.m. on the West Coast. It's now Friday morning in London town at 1 a.m. Also Friday morning in Tokyo, Japan at 9 a.m. Hi, everybody. My name is Frank Allan, and welcome to another edition of Talk Back Live. This is a program where we get together each week and we involve you in conversation. We're here every Thursday at this time. And of course, the purpose of the show to get you involved, and how we do that is that as the host of the show, I am going to throw out the topic, get things rolling, and in between all of that, you can chime in anytime you like. Now, you may say hi, or you may talk to others that come in, or you may want to talk about something in specific. And we will certainly entertain all of your thoughts and ideas, because that's what the show is all about. It's free exchange of opinions and of ideas. And of course, we come from three different places. We are live here on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and also live on Instagram. So you can pick your poison, whatever you like, wherever you want to be. We're right here for you. And we're going to be here, as I said, for the whole entire hour, just to entertain you and talk about certain topics. We've got so many things to talk about today. And, for the past couple of weeks, it's been flooded with all kinds of things going on, and we'll talk about all of those things. Although that we're not a news forum, but we kind of inject a few things, make topics of them, and we talk about them right away. Now, we've got other things in conjunction with bonding with you in conversation. We're going to do our regular thing too. We have sports coming up, and that's just about a few minutes from now, within this first half of the hour. Brian Camp will be along, and he's coming along direct from Charlotte, North Carolina. That gives us an opportunity to link up with him. You'll get a chance to meet him. Of course, if you're on Instagram, you won't get a chance to actually see him. You'll hear him. But for the benefit of the people who are watching us on Facebook and YouTube, you'll get a chance to see him. He'll be here. We'll link up with him, and he's going to give us all of the great sports information. And there's a lot to talk about too. Baseball is back, as you already know. March Madness just wrapped up, and of course, people are talking about the old women's basketball teams and all of those things that Brian normally talk about. It's going to be right here. We'll talk about all of that for you. Remember, all of the opinions and view expressed on this show, Talk Back Live, does not necessarily reflect the view or the opinions of the people, both on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Zoom, and any other kind of broadcast facility or any other social media outlet. And it's free exchange, as I said. And so we just do that disclaimer because there's a lot that we talk about, and you may and may not agree with everything what we have to say, but that's when you come in. So if there's something that you want to talk about in particular, or you want to rebuttal or on anything that we have to say, or you want to correct something that we said, we're all open for it. And we won't cut you off, but please be nice about it. That's all we have to say. Just be nice. Well, here we are. Summer is on its way. And, the weather proclaimed it here in New York. I don't know about where you are, but in New York, the weather got a little warm today. As I walked out this morning, it was kind of a cool, brisk kind of a day. But as the day wore on, it got a little warmer. And in some cases, depending on what part of the city, we went as far as almost 80 degrees today. It was like 70. Well, now, I'm not going to say almost 80 degrees, but it was well into the 70s in some places. And so they're expecting a lot of rain for the overnight period here in New York, but you needn't worry about that because you're warm in your cozy apartment. Comfy, cozy, and warm. That's the way we like to do it. And we're going to keep the show rolling for you and keep it all comfy, cozy, and warm. So thank you again for being along with us. And it's 55 years this past Tuesday. We acknowledged the the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And that's 55 years. Do you remember what you were doing then at that particular time when the news dropped? Do you remember where you were, what you were doing? Would you like to talk about that? Well, let me start that off for you. I remember exactly where I was when that happened. I was in high school and I was taking night classes. And we were all in the classroom, just sitting there and just going through the whole routine and going through our class. And I remember that the teacher that was taking charge of the class at that particular time, one of the other teachers from another class came in and called her out, right, and whispered to her. And then I could hear her say, "Oh my God," you know, and then that's when the news broke. And so what they did, they sent us all home early. You know, it was a terrible day. And then when we went back to school the following day, it was pandemonium, you know, like people were protesting and a lot of things happened. So that's exactly where I was 55 years ago, Tuesday, when that all happened. And so I brought out Dr. Martin Luther King for a purpose, because with everything that's going on now, you kind of wonder, what will he be thinking today? What will he be saying today? And of course, you know, there were interviews I've seen on TV when Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s son, the third, was there with his wife. He's doing a couple of interviews I've seen. But I just figured I'd just bring that out because that was one of the memories I had. Not a great memory, but it was a memory that I had that I'll never forget. And a lot of you people know where you have been at that particular time. I mean, remember, and those of you who are old enough to remember who were here, maybe some of you weren't even born yet, but that was some kind of year, 1968. That was a year. And that was the same year that Bobby Kennedy got assassinated. And of course, I also remember where I was when John F. Kennedy got assassinated. So a lot of you weren't even born yet, but that's history. And you ought to ask your parents and your grandparents who were here already. Ask them about it. Ask them where they were. And those of you who are old enough to remember and you want to chime in on a conversation about that, we'd be glad to talk about it. Anyway, we're so glad to have you here. It's 7 minutes past the hour right now. And so many things happen. So many things happen during the week. Hey, by the way, here's something. Former Vice President Mike Pence is not going to fight the DOJ subpoena. And that's in the January 6th probe. He is going to, or he's going to have to, because he's going to be under oath when that happens. So whenever that date happens, when he has to appear in court, he is going to have to spill his guts out. Tell about everything he knows, or everything we precede him to know. He's going to have to spill his guts out. Not so much guts, because in my opinion, I really never thought he had any, but whatever he has inside him, whatever kind of information that he knows or information that he's been hiding for years, that he is going to have to talk about it. And I don't know a court date. Maybe you know about it. I'm not sure when that's going to take place, whether or not he received the subpoena or not. I don't think at this particular time he did. But when he does, he is going to honor that subpoena. Hopefully, you know, he doesn't renege on it and go and tell everything he knows about what happened on that day, on that fateful day, January 6th, when they had that big insurrection, which a lot of the Republicans, and of course 345/666 Beast Incarnate said there was no insurrection. You know, I mean, you can hold up a picture and show them exactly what happened. And of course, they're going to try to spin it the way they can. They say, oh, no, that photo was doctored. So that's not a right photo. That's a carbon copy of something else. And they just doctor it. You know, they'll say something like, oh, no, that was it was done by the thing that they do, this technology that they do today to change, put faces on the heads, put your face on someone else's face. and that's called photoshopping. You know, they'll say things like that because in the technological world today, there's nothing that you can't do. There's nothing that you can't create. You can create as long as you have a computer. You can create anything you want. They have these apps, as you already know, apps that have things where you can make yourself look older, make yourself look younger, or make a cartoon photo of yourself, things like that. A whole lot of things, and that's it. We're also going to say, when we're speaking of 345/666 Beast Incarnate, we're going to get to you later because we already know what happened this week. We're going to talk about that later on in the program. Just before coming on the air, I was watching. I was staying glued to the TV. And of course, a lot of you already know by now, and it's probably all over social media at this particular time, the state representatives, there are 3 of them in Tennessee. You had Justin Jones, and these are the state representatives of Tennessee. You had Justin Jones, you had Gloria Johnson, and you had Justin P. Pearson. And they were all, well, not all of them, and I just got the news. I'm looking right now. Okay, so now, it didn't happen before I got on the air, but I just got the news just now that 2 of the representatives were expelled. And that's Representative Justin Jones and 2 Justins, Justin Jones and Justin J. Pearson. Gloria Johnson, who is the white representative, versus the 2 black men, survived it. Okay, now I'm not sure. I'm not going to linger on it too much on this show, but something has to give. We have to talk about it. Now, the reason why these they expel these people is because they were out there trying to fight. Because you remember all of the shootings that took place, right, in Memphis, Tennessee, and the schools, right? You had the 3 adults and the 3 babies, 9 years old. Yes, they're babies, 9 years old. They were babies, 3 of them. And you had Mike Hill, Catherine Kuntz, and Cynthia Peak. Now, those were the adults. Mike Hill was the school custodian. Catherine Kuntz was head of the school, and Cynthia Peak was a substitute teacher. And you had 3 children. You had 3 children, all 9 years old. That's Evelyn Dykenhouse, William Kinney, and Hallie Scruggs. Hallie Scruggs, by the way, she's the girl that was the daughter of one of the ministers, because this was like a religious school. And so you had all of the 6 all together. And so the purpose of that, of this whole thing, of the expelling the 2 representatives, that they were peacefully protesting, because the people in Tennessee, especially the young people, are scared to even go to school. And so what they were doing, they went out to their constituents, protesting peacefully. Whether a law was broken or is it a policy, whatever it is, and 2 of them got expelled. But the one that didn't get expelled was Gloria Johnson, who happens to be white, but the other 2. So something has to be explained. A lot of things are going to have to be focused on. And of course, I'm pretty sure when we get more information, maybe I won't give it to you all tonight. Maybe I won't know more. I'll probably know more by tomorrow when we come on the coffee hour. But this is what's happening. It's ironic, isn't it? It's ironic. And they were all doing the same thing. all the things they were doing, they were just protesting peacefully with their constituents. No violence, no guns, no knives, no nothing like that. They were just protesting. And so that's the news that came down. Now, that news didn't come down with Justin J. Pearson. It didn't come down when I got on the air. But I just found out just now that that was the final. And so, I mean, these are the people in the House who are Republicans. They're all Republicans, and I'm just totally convinced that the Republicans don't want to. They don't want to see things go on the up and up anymore. You know, I mean, if you say as much as something like, you know, you form your own opinion about anything, they don't want to talk about it. You know, they want to shut you up. And this is from where I come from. This is a place of democracy. This is a country that dwells in democracy. That's the way it's supposed to be. But it doesn't seem like that. So there's going to be a lot of questions are going to be have to answer. We're going to have to see how that goes. And again, if I have any more information, come tomorrow about it. May not get to it tonight, but if I have any more information, or maybe if I get some information as the show progresses, whatever I know, I will definitely bring it to you. Okay, it's now 15 minutes past the hour, coming up to 16 minutes past the hour, 16 minutes past the hour right now. And just in case you're just watching us, the name of the show is called Talk Back Live. My name is Frank Allan, and we're going to be here for the whole entire hour. And usually at this time, Brian Camp is on. We don't see anything of what's happening with him yet. I'm pretty sure whatever the problem is, I'm pretty sure he's trying to rush to it. If we don't hear from him pretty soon, we're going to try to give him a call on the telephone and see if he does the sports. He does the sports. This is sports update. And he brings you the latest developments in today's world of sports. I'm really surprised that he's not here right now. I'm really surprised. Anyway, we're going to keep the show going. And Easter is coming up now. Tomorrow is Palm Sunday, right? Palm Sunday is tomorrow. No, Palm Sunday was last week. I'm sorry. That was last week. Good Friday is coming up. Good Friday. That's tomorrow, Good Friday. And Good Friday, that brings on Easter on this Sunday. So people will be celebrating Good Friday and Easter that comes on Sunday. And you make sure that when you celebrate Easter, you celebrate it for the right reason. A lot of people, usually take Easter wearing their Sunday best before they go out to church. And I got to tell you the truth that I got caught up in that fever years ago. When I was a kid, Mom used to buy us suits and buy us new clothes, just in time for Easter. And, as you get older, you start to realize, no, that's not what that's for, And so Easter Sunday. And speaking of Easter Sunday, would you guys like any jelly beans? How about that? Would you like any of these? I got a whole lot. Now, this is not the reason why. This is not the reason why I'm eating jelly beans, not for the sake of Easter, because you've seen me on the program before. I dabble in jelly beans. As a matter of fact, let me get a few more right now. Those are the white ones. The white ones are pineapple. Delicious. But ladies and gentlemen, you can buy jelly beans. You can buy jelly beans at any time of the year. So it's just not for Easter, but just be very careful when you buy your jelly beans. You have to decide whether you want the fruity kind or do you want the spicy jelly beans. I hate the spicy jelly beans. So I like the fruity kinds. And of course, I have a lot of flavors that I like, but I love the black ones. They have that great licorice taste. And I love taking those. So if any of you guys want to join me in jelly beans, they're all right here. I got them right here. If you could reach yourself and get them. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, we haven't heard from Brian yet, so we're going to try to give him a call and see what's happening. Unless because he didn't leave a message or anything. So we're gonna see what happens. We're gonna give him a call right now and see what he has here. I'm pretty sure that I don't know. It's always something going on. I'm pretty sure that it's for a legitimate excuse why he's not here. But we're going to find out what that legitimate excuse was. So we're going to see if we can catch him right now. Let me see if I can find his number first. And that's what we're going to do. In the meantime, it's Talk Back Live, and it's all of us together. And we thank you so much for being along. So we're going to give him a call and see what he has going. Okay, we'll see what he has going. Okay, yeah, let's talk back live. We're going to be here for the whole entire hour. So we want you to stay put, stay right where you are. It's 20 minutes past the hour right now. And so, ladies and gentlemen, just hang out there. And as I said, the weather was pretty nice. Weather was pretty nice all day long here in New York. Okay, he's not even answering his phone. So I'm not sure what that is. When he doesn't answer the phone, it's, I don't know. Now I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. But anyway, this is the way it is. We're going to keep the show moving. Now, getting back to the subject at hand, we can talk more about the subject, but we have to find out. And I'm pretty sure, and maybe when I get off the air this evening, maybe I'll have some more of what's happening. I want to see if I can get a copy, the latest copy of the New York Times, because I'm interested in seeing how they're going to do this, what kind of statements they're going to make when it comes in. I'm really interested in finding out, you know, how that's going to roll down, and we'll see about that. We'll see more about that. Now, I'm pretty sure a lot of you were up all day watching. Some of you, maybe you don't care about the news. I don't know. Maybe you don't want to be involved in the news. And I can understand that, folks, because the news tend to get so depressing all the time. It tends to get depressing. And as I always said, and I've said many times before, is that when you go and watch some kind of news, and it could be really devastating news, for instance, you know, the mass shootings, you hear about that. And then there's always one thing after another. You talk about that, and now before you can even process all of that, something else comes up. And people tend to say, you know something, I'm going to put the news away for a while. And I do this myself. I do this myself. I get to the point where when it becomes so overwhelming, well, I'll say, okay, I'll put it away. Now, my policy is that dropping news altogether on the weekend. I just like to leave it on the weekend, because I'm pretty sure if something really spectacular comes up, it'll pop up on my phone. You know, so I don't actually turn on the TV on the weekends to watch news. I want to save that for something else. I want to watch TV for something else. I want to take a break from it all for something else. And so I can understand why a lot of people, they say, well, I just don't like to watch the news. I'm afraid I got this anxiety problem. And when I hear news like that, it bothers me. I can't breathe, or I can't function. And it affects a lot of us, because you got to remember all of the changes we as people, citizens all around the world, all across the country, especially when we're in the pandemic stage, right? That big, heavy pandemic stage. It did a lot of things to us. I mean, I don't care who you are, where you are. It affected you as well in some way. And some people are talking about, they said, you know something, I know I had to take therapy. I had to go to a doctor. I had to take therapy to find out what's going on, because I have these weird dreams, or I have, I get nervous a lot, and a lot of us do. And come to think of it, you know, there are certain points throughout my day, sometimes depending on the day, where I might feel a little anxious and a little nervous, and not knowing why. But, you know, I kind of figure it out. I go back in time to find out, you know, what was it, you know, that I was nervous about? I don't know. I don't get it. What was it that I was nervous about? And when I can't figure it out, then I'm thinking, okay, is something wrong? I have to go back and find out. And it's like that kind of a nervous when you're taking an examination, right? Or you want to take some kind of, you're in school, you're in college, and you're taking an examination and you have these butterflies in you, that kind of nervous, that kind of nervous, not the nervous where I'm going to shake and go crazy or anything like that, but you could feel it in the gut. That's where the nerves come on, right in the gut, all of these butterflies, and you're just waiting and just anxious, and you try to do things to calm down, maybe drink hot tea or something like that, or water or something, just something to cool your nerves down. Some people drink other things, but we won't get into that. But just to calm the nerve down. And so that's what we want to do. We want to calm our nerves down. And that's why we're here, to help you with that right here on Talk Back Live. Still haven't heard from Brian yet. I'm going to have to call him after the show to find out what happened. I'm kind of getting nervous now because it's not like him. And if you can't get him one way, you can always get him another way. And at this particular point, I can't get him either way. And so I'm trying to find out what's going on, because I was looking forward to the sports. But in the meantime, we're going to keep the show rolling and keep you entertained. Now, if there's something that you like to say in regards of what we were talking about tonight so far, please feel free. All you have to do is go there, and I will see you right there on the big screen. Just type in what you have to say. I will entertain all of your thoughts and ideas. And of course, we will talk about it. And it could be sports. Now, I am personally not the guy to talk sports with. I could talk sports with you, but I am not what they call an expert on sports. But I'll be able to, I can hold a conversation, but I am not the expert. And Brian is the guy that you would like to talk to about that. But unfortunately, he's not here right now, and I just wish he were. And we have to find out where he was. Maybe he lost connection. Maybe there's some kind of power connection that's lost somewhere. We don't know. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. There are just so many things. And I'm pretty, and he didn't forget. He never forgets. He didn't forget to be here. So I'm pretty sure there's something there that's legitimate that he couldn't make it. I don't know. But the thing that I'm nervous about is that I called him, because usually we do that, right? When we don't hear from him, we call him on the telephone and find out what the issue is. But he didn't answer the telephone. So maybe I should give it one more try. You think I should give it one more try? Yeah, let me give it one more try and see what we got going. Yeah, let's give it another shot and see what we got going. We'll ring the phone and see. Maybe we should hold it. Maybe the answering thing is coming on. I tell you what, when he picks up the phone, if the answering service comes on, we'll pick up the phone and leave a message. And no, we won't even do that. We'll just keep the show rolling. Anyway, it's 28 past the hour, and we're reaching the half hour of the show. And I didn't mention the fact that we also, okay, so it went straight to his voicemail, so we're not going to leave a message. I didn't mention the fact that, and coming up pretty soon, I didn't mention the fact when we opened up the show that we have this day in history. We have a few things that's going to be happening in just a few minutes. We're going to be talking about that because we're going to get that on time. This day in history, all of the things that happen on this day in history, we're going to be talking about that. And of course, also later on in the program, we are going to be giving you all those movies that you love so much. Those Turner Classic movies that you like. And Turner Classic Movies, TCM, they come out with some pretty good stuff. And we have our picks of the week, quite a few of them. And they're my picks of the week for your weekend. Now, a lot of you may do certain things on the weekend. And you may want to include catching up on some movies. And so if that's the case, then of course, I am going to give you some of the ones that I picked out for the weekend, and you can add to your bucket list of movies, what to watch, add them on, and you may not catch up on all of them for the whole weekend, but at least you'll have them. And you can also DVR them, and we'll talk more about that later. So that's coming up later on in the program as we progress, okay? And we'll talk more about that later. And so tomorrow on the coffee hour, if we don't get more information about what's going on in detail, we'll have all the information for you tomorrow. But it's just ironic. It's just amazing and ironic that we can't figure out what happened with all of that situation on these guys being expelled. We don't know. But we'll give you that information. If we have more information on the coffee hour, we'll give you more about that. Brian Camp is here. Wow. We tried to call you. I was nervous.
No, I had a emergency that I had to attend to. My apology.
When I called you and you didn't even pick up your phone, I got a little nervous. You know, I said, man,
I know, but I just couldn't pick up the phone. It was an emergency I had to take care of, and but I'm just getting back now to my emergency. But everything is all well.
I'm glad you're here. I'm glad to see your beautiful face.
Yeah, thank you, America. Thank you, America.
But listen, better late than never. Better late
than never. Yeah. So I got a bone to pick with the First Lady of the United States, but I'll get to that in a second.
Okay. I know what you're talking about, but go ahead. I heard the story, but go ahead.
Good evening to all, to everybody out there. It's 71 degrees today. Right now, it's cloudy. And it's going to rain tonight, but we had a high of 84 degrees today. It was hot. Yesterday was hot, but the rain is going to cool off till tomorrow. But yes, but we're here. We glad for the rain. Maybe I can get some of this pollen and the allergies could clear up and everything. So, but let's talk. Congratulations to the women basketball. The NCAA women's basketball goes to the LSU Tigers, winning 102-85 over Iowa. Yes, in the championship game on last Sunday. And this past Monday, the NCAA men's championship goes to the UConn Huskies from Connecticut. They beat San Diego State 76-59. So congratulations to them, to those two schools for the men's and women's. College basketball is now officially over. We still got the NBA, the professional games that's coming on as they conclude their regular seasons. Coming up this Sunday is the last regular season game. And now they're going to start their playoffs the following, I guess, a couple of days after that for the play-ins and for the rest of the playoff. So, we got a lot of stuff to do with sports. Baseball's here. Baseball's back. The Yankees won 2 out of 3 against my San Francisco Giants. Yeah, congratulations and everything. But my Giants will be back. They're a scrappy team. They're not going to win a lot of games, but they're going to be fighting. And they have their home opener tomorrow against the Kansas City Royals. So I'll be tuning in with that. This day in sports, April 6, 1973, Roberto Clemente Day. Pittsburgh Pirates retire his number 21. 1973, New York Yankee Ron Blomberg becomes the first designated hitter, and he walks. He also was the first one to get a hit, too. That was the first designated game, and Ron Blomberg came through. 1974, New York Yankees' first home game at Shea Stadium. Yes. Now you say to yourself, I thought they play Yankee Stadium. They do. This is when the old Yankee Stadium was being torn down to be renovated. And they had the Shea Stadium as their home games for a couple of years. And it was being renovated, and they beat Cleveland 6-1. Imagine the Mets and the Yankees sharing the same stadium as their home field. I know that, as the Mets, I know Met fans will say, "Get these Yankees out of here! This is our stadium." So, but yes, 1977, the Kingdome opens up. The Seattle Mariners first game loses to the Angels 7-0. 1979, Baltimore manager Earl Weaver wins his 1,000th game as a manager. Yes. 1987, middleweight World Boxing Championship, Sugar Ray Leonard upset marvelous Marvin Hagler in a epic, one of the greatest championship bouts that you would ever see. I saw that match at the old, it was at Madison Square Garden. I remember it was at Madison Square Garden. It was at that time they had closed circuit TV. Remember the closed circuit TV? Yes. And it wasn't at the Felt Forum, but it was at Madison Square Garden. Saw it on closed circuit TV. It was a fantastic fight. It was a controversial decision, but Leonard won. 1992, first game at Camden Field, Baltimore, Maryland. That's where the home of the Baltimore Orioles. Birthdays on this day: 1903, Mickey Cochran, Major League Hall of Famer, born in Bridgewater, Massachusetts. 1951, Bert Blyleven, pitcher, Major League Baseball Hall of Famer, born in Zeist, Netherlands. And in 1969, Brett Boone, infielder, born in El Cajon, California. And ladies and gentlemen, that is sports on Holy Week. As we celebrated yesterday, the Passover. Today is Monday, Thursday. This is where Jesus washed the feet of his disciples. And tomorrow is Good Friday, where we recognize as where Jesus was crucified, and 3 days later we celebrate. We don't call it Easter anymore. We call it Resurrection Sunday. You know, Easter is for the little kids with the bunny eggs.
Hey, speaking of that, would you like some jelly beans?
Only if you got a red one. Hold on, let me see if I can get it.
I have a grape.
Never
Listen, I eat these. I don't eat them like all the time, because I have to watch my sugar intake.
That's right.
But every once in a while, I want some sweets. I mean, do you do the same thing?
Yeah, once in a while, I get it. My doctor says this moderation. Be careful.
Yeah,
don't do it a lot. I don't do it every day.
Yeah. I like Twizzlers. I bought a big thing of Twizzlers, but that's just like for the side. Every once in a while, I like to bite into a Twizzler and get these. And today I bought me an Entenmann's chocolate cake.
Okay, yeah.
Because the little boy in me says I should have chocolate cake with cold milk, when I used to do when I was a little kid.
Chocolate, yeah.
What about the president's lady?
Yeah, I understand she means well. It's controversial. About the story about Kathleen, I forget her name, the basketball player for Iowa.
Yeah, Caitlin.
Caitlin something.
Caitlin, I can't remember her last name.
Yeah. Maybe I could say, what is Caitlin's name, the basketball player for the women's Iowa basketball team? In any event, they lost. Caitlin Clark is her name.
Caitlin Clark, right.
Yeah. And the LSU players, one of the players was holding up her hand like this. We got a ring, because Caitlin Clark was doing, this is trash talk. This is what they do in sports.
Yeah.
It's good for the game. So what Caitlin Clark did, she did it like no different from what any other player did, black, white, or whatever. But they trying to turn this into a black and white thing. What the president, what the first lady did, you never invite the losing team to the White House. That's a no-no, Dr. Jill Biden. You don't do that. Stay in your lane, stay in your role as first lady.
Yeah.
Sit back. If you want to have them to come privately, without making an announcement over social media. Yeah. And what I wouldn't have gone if she invited the losing team.
Oh boy.
I wouldn't have went, and some of the LSU players might not want to go. But give credit to Caitlin Clark. She says, I don't think I would go. They're the champions. They deserve the spotlight.
Yeah.
you know, and then try to turn into a black and white thing because Iowa had an all-white team.
Yeah. And right. Exactly.
You
Yeah.
know, so but it was a great game, turned into, you know, with the trash talk, which is part of sports.
Yeah. Of
I
course.
was the biggest trash talkers around. I'm still a trash talker, sports or non-sports.
But
But
you
it
know
was,
something, even though I still like Jill Biden, I still like her. I don't know. You know, do you notice some don't, but I like her. You know, I think the one of the most popular first ladies that I ever known that I really like was Laura Bush.
Mhm.
I love Laura Bush and Michelle Obama.
Yes,
These were popular first ladies, you know.
yeah, yeah,
Jacqueline Kennedy back in the 60s when John F. Kennedy was president. Popular ladies, you know.
yeah. Even
Not all first ladies are popular, but these are the one I just named, you know, very
Nancy
popular.
Reagan was one that was most notable. You know, just say no. You know, just say no to drugs. You know, she
Yeah,
was the good thing.
yeah.
And Jimmy Carter's wife,
Oh, Rosalind Carter, right? That's another one. Yeah.
Carter. You
Oh,
know,
yep. Yeah.
and you know, we had some. You know, I was around for Jacqueline Kennedy,
Yeah.
but she was a classy lady too.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Eleanor Roosevelt had a lot of input into her husband presidential tenure too as well. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Well, let's get Jill Biden on the show. Maybe we can talk to her.
Dr. Joe Biden, if you're listening, please stay in your lane as the first lady and lead the sports. As we love for you to come to the games, but just stay there. Okay.
Okay, we're gonna catch you back here tomorrow, right?
I'll be here tomorrow for Good Friday. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, a regular time, 20 past.
20 past.
Okay, we'll be looking for you then.
All right, everybody be safe. See you tomorrow.
All right, okay, that's Brian Camp, ladies and gentlemen. Late, but it's okay. Better late than never. The wonderful world of sports update. And he's going to be with us tomorrow on Talk Back Live. And we look forward to seeing him then. And of course, you're going to be here too, right? Well, let's keep moving right along because we're tagging right behind. Let's go over to On This Day in History. On This Day in History, the first Tony Awards. Arthur Miller, David Wayne, and Patricia Neal win for theatrical achievements. On This Day in History, 1957, New York City ends trolley car service. On This Day in History, 1959, the 31st Academy Awards, Gigi, goes to Susan Hayward and David Nivens. On This Day in History, 1964, Egypt and Belgium restores diplomatic relations. Back in 1967, Premier George Pompidou, I guess I pronounced that right, forms a new French government. Back in 1975, the Rocky Horror Picture Show closes at the Belasco Theater in Manhattan in New York City after 45 performances. Back in 1987, the 22nd Academy of Country Music goes to Hank Williams Jr., Randy Travis, and Reba McEntire. In 1927, jazz saxophonist and orchestra leader Jerry Mulligan, born in Queens, he died in 1996. In 1929, jazz drummer Art Taylor was born in New York City. He died in 1995. In 1931, actor Ivan Dixon, you saw him on Car Wash, right? He was born in New York City and he passed away 2008. Actor Billy D. Williams is celebrating. He was born on this day in 1937 in New York City. He's 86 years old today. Country singer Merle Haggard was born on this day in 1937 in Bakersfield, California. He died April 6th on this particular day, died April 6th. He was born April 6th and died April 6th at the age of 79 years old. In 1960, jazz guitarist, vocalist, and record producer John Pizzarelli was born on this day. He was born in Paterson, New Jersey. He's 63 years old today. I had a chance of being in his company quite a few times. Let's see, actor Paul Rudd was born on this day in 1969 in he was born in, where was he born? It's right there. Passaic, New Jersey. He was married in Passaic, New Jersey. He's 53 years old. 1976, actress Candace Cameron Bure, who played DJ Tanner on Full House when she was a little girl. She was born in Los Angeles, California. She is 47 years old today. In 1943, U.S. Marine, an aviator and astronaut, John Glenn weds high school sweetheart, Anna Margaret Castor. Back in 1963, actress Anita Ekberg weds actor Rick Van Nutter, and they were married in Switzerland. In 1976, singer Rod Stewart weds model and actress Alana Collins, and they were divorced in 1984. In 1997, Federal Reserve Chairman Alan Greenspan weds NBC News correspondent Andrea Mitchell, who is still going strong in the industry today, and they got married at Little Washington in Washington, Virginia. In 2012, Sex and the City actor Chris Noth weds actress Tara Wilson in Hawaii. In 1967, singer-songwriter Harry Nilsson divorced Sandy McTaggart in Los Angeles, California after 2.5 years of marriage. In 2012, actress and model Heidi Klum divorced soul and R&B singer and songwriter Seal after almost 7 years of marriage. Actress Greer Garson died on this day in 1969 at the age of 91 years old from heart failure. She was born September 29th in 1904, and she was born in Essex, England, in the UK. Country singer Tammy Wynette died on this day in 1998 at the age of 55 years old from a lung blood clot. And she was born May 5th, 1942, and she was born in Itawamba County, Mississippi. And in 1999, jazz vibraphonist Red Norvo died at the age of 91 years old. In 2014, actor Mickey Rooney dies at the age of 93. In 2015, actor James Best, who played on Dukes of Hazzard, he also played on that movie Sounder. He died at the age of 88 years old. And finally, 2017, comedian Don Rickles dies at the age of 90 years old. And that's this day in history. Those of you who have any kind of history that you would like to relay to us, please feel free. And of course, we will convey everything to the rest of the people who are watching right now. If there's any reason you'd like to get in touch with us, we have two ways of doing it. You can call me or you can email me, either one. Let me give you the email address first. It's frankallenprod@aol.com. That's frankallenprod@aol.com. Remember, spell Allan, A-L-L-A-N, and prod is P-R-O-D. That's short for productions. frankallenprod@aol.com. Telephone number is 641-715-3900, extension 467-134. That's 641-715-3900, extension 467-134. If you would like to give us some kind of critiqueness about our show, or you have any ideas to implement on what we can do to improve the show or anything like that, or you just want to say hi, that's fine too. Just get in touch with us. Again, that email address is frankallenprod@aol.com. That's frankallenprod@aol.com. Telephone number is 641-715-3900, extension 467-134. That's 641-715-3900, extension 467-134. It's coming up to the bewitching hour. We'll be leaving pretty soon. All right, we're going to talk about that Trump indictment. Now, I got to tell you, a lot of people gloat over this, but you know what? It was something I follow it the whole way around. And of course, Trump pleads not guilty, of course. He pleads not guilty for 34 felony counts of falsifying business records. He pleads not guilty, okay? And I watched that. What I saw on TV that day, when he came into town, he came in the day before he was supposed to go to the courthouse for his arraignment. Now, when he went there was just fingerprinting. There was no mug shots or anything. But I saw a different kind of a 345/666 beast incarnate, who you know as Donald Trump. I saw a different kind of a guy there. I saw a guy that was a little man, that lost control of everything. He's not used to being out of control of anything. He's always used to being in control of everything. But this guy was totally out of control. And you know something? I'll say more about this tomorrow because we're running out of time, but I got to tell you something. That judge was very nice to him. Now, he said it before and after this indictment. All right. He said that he was a he was a Trump hating judge. Him and his wife were, they were Trump haters. And, but I said this judge was very nice to him because he said to him, and he brought up all of these other things about when he goes out and on campaigns and he rags on the DA, he rags on the judge and incitement of riots and things like that. He was nice enough to say, look, you can do anything you want. You can go out there, campaign, whatever you want to do, but don't rag on the DA, on the judge, or say anything that's incendiary to rile up your base, to cite riots or anything like that. Don't do it. And what does this guy do? When he gets back to Florida, he flies back to his home in Florida, right? And of course, he puts on this pathetic speech, which basically was about him, because it's all about him. He doesn't talk about anything but himself, and he doesn't talk about how he's going to get this country together. Well, we already know about that. He gets on there, and what does he do? He rags on the DA. He attacks the judge. He still continues, says the judge and his wife are Trump haters. He still continues to say that. Now, he has to go back to court, right? He has to go back December 4th. In person, he has to come back to New York, December 4th. And so all of this time he's doing this. Now, this guy can't help himself. What I see, if he doesn't take shape of himself, which he won't, when he comes back to that courthouse, I'm pretty sure they're going to request a gag order. All right. Now they're taking things one bit at a time, slower and slower. They're gonna request a gag order. And what's gonna happen is that he's not gonna honor that gag order. And so when you don't honor if the judge says you got a gag order, you cannot go out there, you don't rag the DA, the judge, don't incite riots, don't say anything that can hurt people or put people in danger, which basically that's what he's good at doing. If he does that under a gag order, then the judge is going to get cited. Okay, look, you know something? I'm throwing your tail in jail. I'll throw you in there for a day. If that doesn't work, I'll put you in there for a week. If that doesn't work, I'll put you in there for a month. He's going to get tired of it. And, it didn't surprise me when he did it, though. And I don't really watch his speech, but I just want to see what he was going to say. And as if I didn't know, But, he had people come, he couldn't get his base to come and come to his aid outside to do any kind of peaceful demonstrating. They couldn't get anyone to come out there. There were like a handful of people, just a handful of people on the Republican and the Democrat sides. All right, just a handful of people. There wasn't a lot of protesters out there, and no one got in trouble. It was kind of peaceful, but he couldn't get the people that he wanted out there. And he got Marjorie Taylor Greene come to New York. What was she doing here anyway? For a whole day, we had to endure that stench of Marjorie Taylor Greene. And she didn't stay long because they booed her so bad. She got into her SUV and they just took her out of it. She was there for 5 minutes. talking on a bullhorn for 5 minutes, and they booed her so bad, they booed her out of there. She had to leave. And prior to that, she did an interview with one of the media members and said, well, why are you here? Well, they said, well, we're here. I'm here because we want to do things peacefully. We want to demonstrate. We want to do anything peacefully. We don't want any problems. We don't cause any problems. We're not going to cause any riots. Wrong. That's not why she was here. She was looking for a problem. If you know anything about Marjorie Taylor Greene, she was looking for a problem. She was looking, and she couldn't find it. And you're not going to find that kind of problem that they had at the insurrection January 6th. Because you got to remember, New York City has the finest police department in the world by far, the finest police department in the world by far. And even if those Proud Boys or whoever they were, they came there, they weren't going to be on any of that. There wasn't going to be any breaking in buildings or knocking down windows. This is not Washington, D.C., guys. All due respect to Washington, D.C., but we don't take it here. It's not happening here. And so they discovered that. And George Santos came in, he was there, but he didn't stay long either. He was trying to hide from the media. What were they doing here? Marjorie Joseph Greene has a lot of fish to fry. Instead of her being here and looking for problems, she should go to Georgia and do the job that she was elected to do. And they have their thing in Georgia, which they have to straighten out. And she's here in New York. Get out of here, go home, don't come back here, don't even bother. You don't know anything about New York. She's trying to give out statistics on the crime in New York, what she knows nothing about. She's not a New Yorker, she doesn't know anything. But they're so it's crazy. What about Lindsey Graham? Oh man, I'm not going to talk about that tonight. But Lindsey Graham, I'll leave you with this. Lindsey Graham turned out to be the Donald Trump, what do you call how to find a word for it? The tele-evangelist for Donald Trump, searching for money. Hey, and he's crying like a baby. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. I don't want to miss out on giving you about the movie. I only have one movie this week. But I think you'll like it. It's a great movie. It's a classic movie from 1942. It's Casablanca. Casablanca, great movie starring Humphrey Bogart and Ingrid Bergman, and that's on Turner Classic Movies. You can check that out. It's happening Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you set your clocks by that. And if you don't get a chance to watch this movie in real time, you can always DVR it and watch it at your own convenience. So this is the only movie I have. But you can go to Turner Classic Movies and scroll through the program guide. And of course, you'll see more movies that you'll like that I didn't mention. Not that I don't like the movies, it's just that those were not my picks. But this is my only pick for the weekend. And you can check out those movies. You could also DVR all of those movies. And of course, you could also go on Movie on Demand. You can check out free movies and up-to-date movies, paid movies, movies that are in the theater now. You can check them out. Pay-per-view is what they call them. And of course, if you miss your favorite sporting events, of course, you already know that you can go there and see it the next day if you miss it in real time. And of course, if you check out all the networks and find out what's happening, documentaries and everything galore, it's all right there on Turner Classic Movies. So let me tell you about that movie once again, Casablanca, going back to 1942. That's the year. Humphrey Bogart and Ingrid Bergman. That's Turner Classic Movie. And you can check out, or you can call it TCM. And that's on Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern, right there on Turner Classic Movies. Okay? Okay. And that's going to wrap it up for me. We're going to continue everything tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. And Brian Camp will be here with sports on time. His part of the 2020 feature. 20 after the hour, 22 the hour, the second part of the 2020 feature. DJ Pete will be here bringing you all of that information of people of notoriety and celebrating birthdays of people of notoriety. Entertainment news, all right here. Other than that, I'll be back here next Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And for more of Talk Back Live, Brian Camp will be here with sports. Hopefully he'll be here on time, but better late than never. And of course, we look forward to seeing you as well. Okay, look forward to you. So until tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, have yourself a great morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
You've been watching Talk Back Live with your host Frank Allen. The producer is Al Dale. Technical assistant Dave Taylor. Research by Sandy Pierce. And I'm your announcer Donna Stenke. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Talk Back Live.